everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my most favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Today we're going to be looking at Hard Boiled by Frank Miller and Geoff Darrow. Um, it's a very simple story, and Geoff Darrow just drew the heck out of this. Beautiful, 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 beautiful cover. I have done Big Guy with Rusty the Robot, so I wanted to also, sorry, I linger in this, so I also wanted to cover this. Um, I cannot show you everything because the algorithms, we don't want the YouTube algorithms to make this adults only. There are some boobies, and I will be pausing the video as we go through it to make sure that they're not displayed. I have the original trade paperback that came out with this. These was originally 3 issues, and I have like I said, I have the original trade paperback that came out. So this came out around 1990. It actually took around 4 years, 1990 through 1993, for all 3 issues to come out. Because as you can see here, Geoff Darrow is ultra detailed. So just stuff for throughout the thing. You can follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. I just like to post my artwork. You can also, I have a link to the Wikipedia entry actually of this, where you can kind of look in more detail at the plot to sort of know what's going on. The main important thing that we want to do here is look at Geoff Darrow's beautiful, ultra detailed art, because not many people draw like this, and you can see why this thing took 4 years to go through. Essentially what we are is we're in a dystopian society, and we have androids and robots and all that kind of stuff going around. So what we have here is we have a guy named Nixon, and that this is Nixon, who is an android, but he does not know that. He does not know that he is an android. Again, great. Oh, goodness gracious. Great details here. In a nutshell, what this story basically is, oh my goodness gracious. Look at this. If you remember that movie with Harrison Ford, oh my goodness, you can just see, look at this, every bullet. Harrison Ford and director Ridley Scott made Blade Runner, where the robots or the android synthetics, whatever, they want freedom. This is essentially pretty much the same story. So, I mean, goodness gracious, who does this? This is amazing. So we skipped a page and a half because, again, I told you in the beginning I would do this, but there was a lot of carnage, and when they went into like a bar where they were having exotic dancers and stuff inside. So I unfortunately skipped all that here. There is I'm gonna if you search Geoff Darrow. Cartoonist Kayfabe has a ton of actual interviews with him. He lives in France, and you can hear a lot of interviews with him. He used to work in the Matrix as a oh my goodness, the guys that draw the little the movies and stuff. I really forgot the anyway. I'm spacing it off. So regardless, here to look at Geoff Darrow's, again, beautiful art. Goodness gracious. So here he introduces himself. His name is Nixon, and he's a tax collector. So, all right. So in this part, so I had to skip another page. Part of it isn't that so much. I don't think a lot of people can handle nudity. It's just that some people just want to narc. Some people just want to make everything. Unfortunately, when you deal with humans, uh, not everybody is on the same board, and some people just want to go and say, "Oh, I got to see something. I don't think this is appropriate." Blah blah blah. Then they go yell at YouTube. Then YouTube does their thing, and so I rather just avoid the problem than to show something to people that they may perhaps not want. But look at this detail here. Um, just incredible. So they're trying to put Nixon together again. If you want to know what the plot line is, just I posted a Wikipedia article that should help. You know, I mean this story is really a bloodbath. Just from it just it's amazing how that stuff is. So like I said, um, they're trying to put him together here. Look at all these contraptions that are just drawn. Oh my goodness gracious. Goodness, goodness, goodness. And so, uh, just, uh, I just marvel at his amazing uh, skill because this is not easy. This is time consuming. So, huh. I skipped the part because there's a gray area, and I'm just wanting to show people some amazing comic books, but like I said, there's some people who just wanna, mm, I don't know, complain. So for those, it's just easier that way, not to show certain things. Like I indicated, this in Blade Runner, which is based on Andrew Dick's book, "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?" It's almost the exact same story. So I skipped a portion again. It's not because they show anything in particular, but just because it's a gray area. So kind of looked at the top and now look at the bottom here. Look at this detail. Goodness, 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 goodness. And just this is how it took this guy. This is how it takes this guy all this time to draw. I mean, just look at the in here. Oh goodness gracious, this is detail. And so now they're gonna reprogram him after they fixed him. And so he wakes up and thinks he was having a bad dream. And here are the kids. And um, he thinks it's all a bad dream. Um, of course, we know better because I mean this came out in 1990. If you don't know the story, and I just mentioned that it's very similar to Blade Runner. I give you the premise, so you know what's going on. So this part, I'm just gonna end it, and not end the video. I'm just gonna show you this part while I uh, kind of explain something. So what's basically going on is he is starting to just concentrate and linger on the stuff he's remembering. So this woman here is gonna basically distract him with sex, but she does get naked. So I will not show that. So after 2 pages, other stuff would happen here. So basically, the kids, while the mom was distracting him, came in with those syringes, and so then they plug it in, and he goes back into kind of like sleep mode. And it's essentially why I said he's an android, not a robot, because um, androids are sort of what this is supposed to be. So Anyway, so wakes up the next morning and he's heading to work. And now he has a new name, Carl Seltz, because again he was reprogrammed, and he's an insurance investigator. So he's not Nixon the tax collector. He is now an insurance investigator. And I know this part may not make sense to a lot of people, but this is there used to be a auto parts store called Pet Boys, and so um, it was similar to that. What detail? I also want to tell everyone that the letters are done by John Workman, who is one of, well, he's probably my favorite letterer. Him, Tom Orzakowski, Kevin Kline are just their letters are work of arts. Um, so basically, Norman is this guy, and I forgot this her name here, but or his name. Basically, how fortunate they are they were able to get him restarted and going again. So here we have a chapter break as we're gonna head into the next book. So now Carl, the insurance adjuster, look at all these cars. Goodness. Oh, I am surprised he didn't put faces on on these people. Geoff Darrow, I've been told, based on his interviews, draws very big. So he's able to draw. That's how he's able to get all this detail here. So he is looking for someone here. They basically kind of give him who he needs to go look for. Look at all the keys. Keys here, keys here, keys here. Car's beat up. Um, so, and he's looking for a T-bird, a Thunderbird. Um, he's trying to remember his wife. He just cuts this off and creates basically a mess. But and so here's the car that he's looking for. This is the car. And so this little kid, it's like the other kids. They're too adults to be kids. She says, act kidnapped, and she's like, yep, yep, yep. So, and here comes the police. Look at this. Just missiles. Very Robocop-ish. These guys are sleeping right in the middle of the streets here. A BW. So, and so he's gonna get rid of the cops by putting these things through here, causing an even bigger mess. God, all that damage. So, and all these pugs. So I wonder if he has a pug. You know, the biggest thing about this is just looking at this beautiful art and just marveling at it. He does have a creator owned work that I've been getting. That's taken a while to complete also, but uh, he's got three parts out there. Eastern Airlines, now it's Eastern, I guess condos or whatever. I love this guy here. He's not even paying attention, just looking down. So look at this. Oh my goodness gracious. So he kicks the door out. So he thinks he's going after this lady because some sham insurance claim, and that's what he's there for. And then we, of course, have a shootout. The kid's just like. So I think these kids are robots too. So, and she calls him Nixon. Says you're pretty tough. You ever wonder why? So they're trying to get him alerted. So he's like, no, no, this is who I am. And so we skip the page because, it's very funny that all this violence is okay, but you can't show nudity or you get flagged. It's just so strange to me. But so he's still going after her. So she hits the bikes. The biker's not happy and goes to hit her. Doesn't know she's a robot, of course, or an android. So this is just showing what kind of a uh, uh, bad future it is. But then she, of course, hits him back and breaks his head. And here she crushes his head. And you can see that she's also an android. So she asks if she's catching on and um, says his name is Burns. He's an insurance investigator. So um, he's basically going to realize who he is shortly. I strongly suggest it is still in print. Get this book. It's hard boiled. Um, get this book. And like I said, the story's so simple, but for goodness gracious, just have this amazing artist in your collection. Um, strongly recommend it. I absolutely. So he asked for the gun and she took it apart. So it's just amazing all the stuff he shows. Look at all this damage that they're doing. And this guy's just looking at stuff. So, and this is kind of why, because in some stuff, he just, I mean, I don't know. So, so he continues fighting with the lady. They try to make this into a movie with Nicolas Cage as him. So imagine if you had Nick Cage, and I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan, but I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. So, all the cops are surrounding him. He's, of course, going to throw a grenade and blows her up along with the cops. And we're still nowhere near to this over the top violence. It is just so over the top. Um, I think Frank Miller just gave him an idea, and Geoff Darrow just ran with it. Crazy. So I skipped a couple pages again. I do apologize again. Just uh, trying to keep YouTube happy. So you just never know who's gonna watch this, and just first thing they're gonna do is just complain. So look at this detail, and we go even further. Look at this drawing. Oh, who does this? Oh, this is insane. Insane. Look at this. So, and all the collateral damage. And so, um, I think this is Barbara. I think that's the name. I'm not. Um, so he's freaking out, and he doesn't realize that, because he realizes that now more stuff is happening, and he's kind of figuring it out. And of course, she can't. She doesn't want him to tell the boss, so she kills him. And it's just so cool. I mean, the pen, oh goodness gracious. And so here comes Nixon, and you can see his robot hands, and realizes, he goes, I thought I was a normal guy. And let's show that here. Then he says, I can't go back to my wife and kids looking like this. So, and how about this? I think this is the original trade paperback cover. And so this is the front. And then this was the back. So we are now in the third and final issue here. So, all right. So one dog says you're relieved. Go to base for recharging. So these dogs are one of their own. So, and the kids and the gun. So I think the kids are robots too and androids. Who knows? Um. So she of course is now going into the men's bathroom, and she's gonna what flush him all down the toilet. It's just so. Um, Here comes the cleaner guy. It's like. Anyway, so dog runs away from him. Look at all this. I mean, this is just insane. Insane. It is insanity. It's amazing insanity. Goodness. So, look at this. Even the. Ugh. And so, this was the old lady. And she's taking off the flesh suit. And see, she is also a robot. So these panels just kind of repeat themselves, just showing the um them. So as you can see, it's sort of, I wonder if he cannot have drawn each one of these things. He had to have just put in them. Like, I just can't imagine him drawing all that. So, booking the moves on him, which is just weird because they're robot or androids, but he, of course, just can't accept it and dispatches her. So, he's like, I'm not like you, I'm a normal guy. And so, he ends up destroying the robot. And so the kid's trying to explain everything to him. And so the dog gets rid of her. Of course, she was also a robot, just like I assume those two kids are. So, and then, oh my goodness, all the details. So this guy's telling the boss, who we would have already met him, but it was in one of those pages I had to skip. So, um, he's a big fat guy, but we will get to see him again where there's no nudity. So, oh my goodness gracious. Look at this detail. Detail. If you ever see anything from Geoff Darrow, so this is the boss, Mr. Wilford. So, amazing stuff. So he sees um that he really is an android. Sees this Wilford and says that the dog, of course, tells him that's his brand. And he says, "How does he find them?" He goes, "You can look in the yellow pages, or you can follow me." So they're gonna go. So here's Barbara just kind of sitting, waiting for that revolution. And she's like, "Oh, Nixon, you came back. You're our only hope." And see, and Nixon's just destroying everybody. And we can all now finally be free. Essentially, is what she's looking for. Just, my goodness, all this mayhem. Look at this. Oh. And so, after he finally gets there, after, my God, after he has basically destroyed everything, he says, "All right, can you put me together and we'll call it square?" All he wants to do is be human and be back. So he decides that they'll reformat him back to what he was. And Barbara has just seen that all of that, there will be no revolution. And so she walks in here, and essentially, poor Barbara can't deal with it and commits suicide. And meanwhile, Nixon has come back. Everything's fine. And we get our happy ending. So, look at the door. Hope you enjoyed it. From 1990 to 1993, Hard Boiled by Frank Miller. If you want to look at the pages that I skip, I suggest you go buy this book and enjoy it, because Geoff Darrow's art is amazing. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.